First, let's introduce the Titanic survival division report. We will get a lot of information about the passenger, such as the passenger gender, name, port of departure, cabin class, ticket cost, ticket number, etc. We need to use this information to predict whether this passenger will survive the accident when the ship sinks. The content. First, the introduction, and then data analysis, random forest, base model, feature engineering, and conclusion. Introduction. First, let's introduce the Titanic survival division report. We will get a lot of information about the passenger, such as the passenger's gender, name, port of departure, cabin class, ticket cost, ticket number, etc. We need to use this information to predict whether this passenger will survive the accident when the ship sinks. Data analysis. First, analyze whether there is a considerable gap between the proportion of survive and death. It is found that the proportion of death is about 60%, and the proportion of survive is about 40%. The next step is to observe the relationship between sex and survival rate, and find that the survival rate of female is several times that of male. Maybe it's like in the movie that female and children get on the boat first when fleeing. Through the relationship between age and survival rate, it can be found that the survival rate of young people is much higher. And when analyzing the relationship between fare and survival rate, it is found that the death rate of passengers with low fare is much less higher. Change the number of perch plus tablespoons into a new fare called family size. It is found that the smaller the family size, the lower the survival rate is compared with the larger family size. Random forest. The general map of random division force was first proposed by Qin in 1995. Random force is an ensemble learning map for classification, distribution, and other tasks that operate by constructing a multitude of decision trees at training time. For classification tests, the output of the random forest is the path selected by most trees. For regression tests, the mean or average prediction of the individual tree is returned. So, how to generate a random forest? First, extract n pieces of data from training set, but these n pieces of data can be repeatedly extracted. Suppose we have 1,000 records and we want to extract 100 records from them. There may be duplicate data in this 100 records. And here is some random forest advantage. 1. For many kinds of data, we can produce high accuracy classified. 2. Which training data and features each tree will use are randomly determined. 3. Improve the decision tree overfitting problem by adopting the voting mechanism of multiple decision trees. 4. Each tree can run in parallel during the training or reduce phase. Base model. How to choose a base model? The dataset of Titanic is very small with only 891 records. Therefore, the problem that SVM and KNN are criticized for being very intricate in large datasets will also be released because of the small dataset. However, due to the random forest, the characteristics of its parallel computing are good when the dataset is small or large. Therefore, we choose random forest in generality. The data must go through a processing process before being fed into the model. SVM and KNN use distance as the basis for high-performance segmentation working, which involves many procedures and increase the risk of poor processing. On the other hand, random forest use the inequality function to divide the sample, so normalization or standardization is not required, which simplifies the step in modeling. Here introduce two kinds of data proposing, the standard scalar and the minimax scalar. Standard scalar is standardized all features, that is Gaussian distribution. The mean of data is 0 and the variance is 1. The appropriate time to use it is when the variance of some feature is too large, and the use of standardization can effectively make the model converge quickly. Minimax scalar. In minimax scalar, a clear maxima and minima value are given. The minima value in each feature becomes 0, and the maximum value becomes 1. The data will be scaled to 0, 1.
Next, we had to deal with some of the features mentioned before. For example, the data in the field of name cannot be used directly, but if it is directly declared, it is waste of information. Therefore, let's observe the field of name a little bit, and we can use the information to improve prediction to accuracy. Next, tell the English part of the ticket number information because the same English code may represent the location of the room, and the later numbers is minutes, so it is omitted. If there is only a number, ticket numbers use X to represent it. Analyzing the title on sex, survival rate, and age, we found an interesting place. For example, the average age of the master is only 5 years old, and they are all males, and the survival rate is about 16%. Since there are only a few missing in part, we will directly add the S that appear the most frequently, and the field is only one missing, so we will directly add the average value. Convert categorical data to integer and use a random forest to infer age. Load the random forest algorithm to predict the survival rate. In this report, learn more about how machine learning modeling works. More of the time, observe the data and extracting features such as the impact of ticket price, men and women on survival rate. Finally, found a suitable algorithm to improve the accuracy of prediction. Thank you for your listening.